Welcome back to Brain Dead Red. Today we are going to be talking about cultural appropriation and whether or not white people have a culture. Before we begin, I do want to apologize for my voice. I am very sick. My roommate just tested positive for COVID, and before this I have been dealing with some tonsillitis, so I probably have both right now. I've also lost my sense of smell and taste, so that's lovely. So we're going to be talking about, these very important issues of cultural appropriation. And I think the perfect person to teach us about this is Debbie Ryan, a conservative TikToker who has decided to use a put a finger down challenge to spread awareness of appropriation of white culture. But Miss Debbie keeps missing the mark on what she calls white culture, which, by the way, does not exist. White people do not have a shared universal, cultural experience based on our skin color. So, unlike the shared experiences of Black people in America, like slavery and segregation, white people don't have that. So, if you talk about white culture, it's better to say, Russian culture or Irish culture, things that are actual cultures and exist. So I'm going to play part of Debbie's video, and we're going to play along with her Put a Finger Down challenge, while also examining Debbie's definition of white culture.
Stop scrolling. I have a put a finger down challenge, and if you put 3 or more fingers down, I'll tell you what it means at the end. Blind duet, blind react, whatever. Don't listen to this before you react to it, okay?
So, I obviously have watched this video multiple times, so I'm breaking this rule of blind reacting, but whatever. And before we continue, I do want to point out her caption. It says, my, how the tables have turned, with a ton of exclamation points. Just wanted to point that out, before we continue. So, onward.
Okay, put a finger down if you're not white.
Okay, so this tells us our, kind of the atmosphere that we're going with, and Debbie's target audience for this challenge. Obviously, POC, most likely African Americans and Indigenous Americans. That's based on her attitude. I believe that is who she is targeting. I'm not going to put a finger down, though I would consider myself mixed, not white. I'm pretty sure Debbie would call me white because I do look very white. So, let's continue.
Put a finger down if Christmas is your favorite holiday.
First off, I hate Christmas. In my personal experience, it's too materialistic, and it's not really my kind of holiday, But if you do like Christmas, let's take a little bit of a look at the origins of Christmas. So, in my opinion, if we look at the history, Christmas does not come from a single culture. It's a combination of a lot of Anglo-Saxon pagan traditions and Christianity. And if we think about it, Christianity originates in the Middle East, making it not white. We also have to take into account that winter festivals and Christmas are celebrated all around the world, and in many different ways. So in my opinion, no single culture or religion has a claim on Christmas. It's a combination holiday.
Put a finger down if you do celebrate Thanksgiving.
So this will be my first finger down. I don't really care for Thanksgiving that much, but it is a family tradition. Um, my mom likes it, so. Um, Thanksgiving is a little bit of a trickier one because, in terms of cultures that can claim Thanksgiving, um, it's kind of a gray area. I would personally say that English settlers and indigenous people can claim the holiday because I'm pretty sure the entire point of like Thanksgiving lore is that these two groups of people came together and celebrated. And I would really love to get into the whole nitty gritty details of Thanksgiving, but that would make this video like 3 times longer than what I'm planning. So that would just need to be a whole separate video. Um, but yeah, so again, first finger down, but honestly, I would not call Thanksgiving strictly a white holiday. Uh, if if we're pushing it, English and indigenous. If we're pushing it.
Put a finger down if you watch NASCAR, football, baseball, all three or any of them.
Okay. This is kind of a weird question. And I just want to specify that I don't like sports. And I will admit, these specific sports did originate in, I guess you would say, white places. But if you were to actually look at the entire history of each of these sports, NASCAR, football, and baseball, a lot of the players of these sports have not been white. You know? And let's just compare this to, a kind of a different thing that somebody could watch that, let's just make a comparison, okay? So let's say a white person, an English person, watches a traditional African dance ceremony. That would not be appropriation. So, to say watching NASCAR, football, or baseball is appropriation, it just doesn't align with what people actually define as appropriation. So, yeah.
Put a finger down if you love cheeseburgers.
So, with cheeseburgers, I don't know if I would say I would love them, but they're pretty tasty, so I'll give you that, Debbie. I'll put a finger down. But I'm very sorry to, tell you this, but the origins of cheeseburgers can actually be traced back to the Mongols. And I don't know if you know this, but the Mongols were not white. They were Asian. So, another miss there. And again, this is another misinterpretation and straw man of what appropriation is. A white person eating a taco is not appropriation. That's not appropriation. It's another straw man on your part, Debbie.
And lastly, put a finger down if you live in America.
Debbie, living in a country is not appropriation. But I think you're missing the biggest issue here being that America is not white land. It's not. America had millions of people here before white people. I'm kind of angry. I'm just gonna let her finish because that's just a whole bucket of worms.
Okay. If you have like 3 or more fingers down, congratulations, you've appropriated white culture.
Oof. Got 3 fingers down. Looks like I'm appropriating white culture, guys. So sorry. But I just want to say, looking at Debbie's examples and ideas of what white culture is kind of sad. So according to Debbie, white people's culture is Christmas, NASCAR, and like cheeseburgers. Like, that, I'm honestly kind of surprised she didn't say, put a finger down if you like mayo on plain white bread. Like, with how bland she thinks white culture is. I'm honestly surprised. It's like, put a finger down if you eat beans and toast. So she did get a lot of criticism for this video, and she has sort of a follow-up video to a comment left on the video that we just watched. So I'm going to show you that real quick.
Thank you. Okay, so here's the thing. You live in America. This is the land of the fucking free.
Cue the dramatic speech music.
America, if you didn't know, is a melting pot. Therefore, you literally cannot appropriate culture in America. The point of America, the point of a melting pot, is that everybody from around comes here, puts their culture into this so-called pot, and everybody celebrates it.
Sure, Debbie. America is a melting pot. The people at the bottom get burned, while all the scum floats to the top. That is Charlie King, one of my favorite quotes.
That's the whole point. So if you're Mexican and you celebrate Thanksgiving, that's fine. If you're black and you celebrate freaking Christmas, that's fine.
Debbie, Jesus was black. He was literally an African Jew. Jesus was black.
If you're Indian and you celebrate the 4th of July, that's awesome. We love that. Because America is a melting pot. The point is for everyone to celebrate everybody's culture if they choose to. You don't have to, but if you choose to, great. Thank you.
So now that I've let her finish, I just want to say, I honestly do not have the mental patience to explain cultural appropriation to Debbie. I don't feel it's my place to really explain it either, being someone who knows very little about their culture and also looks very white. I wish I knew more about my heritage, but I have a lot of missing gaps, so, you know. But what I can tell you is that white culture isn't actually a thing. And American culture is hardly a thing either. There are too many people and too many states and lives to really have a shared American culture. I mean, we even live under different laws. So, you know, I just want to thank you, Debbie, for enlightening me to the possibilities of white culture. But I have to leave. I'm gonna go eat some plain toast while watching NASCAR. So bye.